Welcome back to the CEO Teacher Podcast. What a beautiful day to be alive. It feels like a new beginning, a new life. Something feels so brand new about this episode, and for that, I am thrilled. Today, we are giving the people what they want. We are going to help you guys, and I'm going to give you 5 behind-the-scenes secrets to our recent program launch. Our most successful launch ever. And I don't just say that monetarily. I mean that like mentally, physically, emotionally. I had the most fun. I got to watch dreams come to life. I'm not going to cry. I cried the entire launch because it was like this birth of a brand new beginning. And it's just been so beautiful. I just want to thank each and every one of you. But I'm going to give you what you want today. I'm going to tell you what worked for us. And hopefully you can use that if you ever want to launch a program or a service. Guys, this is the cutting edge of things that are working right now. I think that this is worth its weight in gold. I don't think you could put a price point on today's episode because what I'm going to show you is the best strategies right now in the online space. And not very many people do that. And if they do, they may not do it as truthfully as I'm going to do it today. So stick around. You don't want to miss it. But before we get to that, I want to share a quote that I used actually in our webinar during this launch. And it has been living in me. And it's from one of my favorite authors, James Clear. I know you know him. If you don't, why not? He is the author of Atomic Habits. If you don't follow him on social media, you should. His social media is just quotes. It's kind of my thing. And this was one that I shared on our webinar, and I love it. It says, the person who consumes from better sources gets better thoughts. The person who asks better questions gets better answers. And the person who builds better habits gets better results. The edge is not in the outcomes. It's in the inputs. And congratulations on being a part of the inputs, because that's what you're doing here today. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. Go ahead and turn up the volume here. Are you the educator with a multitude of talents and passions, the classroom teacher who dreams big, or a rock star human with a passion for education? Because keep listening, it's your turn to make your mark on the world. As a teacher, you work so hard for your students. You create meaningful lessons that impact your kids for years and years to come. And when you combine your passion and your experience with something educators need, you go all in. And that, my friend, is where the magic happens. It's time to share your teaching ideas, your materials, your resources to start making a bigger impact and influence the world of education. You're not totally crazy for thinking that your teacher business can be successful. It can be a real money maker. Even if you have no idea where to start, 0 tech skills, and a serious allergy to marketing yourself. The 10 steps to get started selling your teaching resources online is your roadmap to help you take massive action and prioritize the most important biz tips as you begin the journey towards living your #best life. When you're ready to take the guesswork out of turning your teaching skills and talents into an online business and turn your passion into profit, go to caseymorris.com/10 steps to get your brand spanking new workbook and join a world where there is no cap on the pay scale and where you get to make a bigger impact on your own terms. That's caseymorris.com/10 steps. And you can type it in your browser just like this. KAYSEMORRIS.com/10 steps. And I'll see you inside of the workbook. So I'm just grinning from ear to ear. Friends, this was 2 years worth of work. And so it may seem like what I'm going to share is like, oh, rainbows and butterflies, but we put in a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. And to see it all unfold so beautifully has been one of the greatest joys of my career. I couldn't have done it without Tina and without Allie, our integrator, Allie, and our copywriter, Tina. I've never met 2 humans that get me as much as they do as far as our work is concerned. We are a well-oiled machine, and it felt so good. To know that we did this with such small team too is amazing. But this has been 2 years worth of work, what I'm going to share with you today. And what we offered in this launch, I'm a lot of ad-libbing here today. Normally I read from a script, but I thought it would be more genuine if I ad-libbed a little bit what we did during this launch. And then I'm going to tell you kind of like the basics of what you need going into a launch and then what worked for us at the end. Okay. So what we offered in this brand new program was something that you guys had never seen before. It was like a year-long college course. And I mean, never seen from us. So think about going back to school. Teachers are good at that, right? And so what we're going to do in 2024, that's what we launched, was a program that they will be able to have in 2024, is this thing that will teach teachers how to become online coaches. What we're going to show them in a years-long program in coaching, in a 90-day onboarding, and a training, all of that, is we're going to teach teachers how to become coaches online. We're going to teach the skill set of coaching. And I started coaching back in 2017. I used those strategies to build a multi-million-dollar company. I then taught the skill set of coaching to 2 of our amazing employees who have become coaches for me and our company for the last 2 years. And we have watched this grow and evolve, and they have utilized the strategies and the systems and the processes to build their own companies in their own respect and to make their own money. And so what we shared, we knew that it would work. And I said this a lot during the launch. I get on these music kicks. It's just who I am. Okay, it's who I am. And I was listening to Morgan Wallen. Don't judge me for that. Like, it's not personal. It's just I was into the country music vibe at that moment. And he has this song. It's called "I Wouldn't Put My Money on Me," but it was just not relevant to this launch at all. But anyways, he says, if you're looking for a sure bet, a smooth ride. And so I use that a lot in the webinar and in our launch, is that what we knew was this was a sure bet. This is going to be a smooth ride. And so that's something that what we normally teach, which is selling your lesson plans, it's not always a sure bet. It's not always a smooth ride. In fact, it's actually a pretty bumpy, rocky road. But we knew we could guarantee that, and that felt really good. This was our largest ticket that we had ever offered. Friends, I was offering a $4,000 program. Every single time on the webinar that I said those words, and you may be thinking, Casey, you're crazy. I can tell you the value of something with the number, but you can never understand the value unless you show up on one of those webinars or you read what you actually are receiving or how this will change your life. So you're just listening to $4,000 right now, but what I know is that that's the cheapest that offer will ever be, and people will look back and go, that's the best $4,000 I ever spent. All aboard the CEO Teacher Train, coming by and reaffirming that for me. Thank you. So this was the largest ticket that we had ever said, ever mentioned, ever verbally said, ever put down. You got to think teachers are making $2,000 a month in the South. And so to ask someone for that amount of money was very hard for me. I cried every time I mentioned it, by the way. This was our longest runway. We were about 10 weeks out. Normally, we've done 4 weeks, we've done 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I think is the sweet spot. We did 10 weeks out because we really wanted to nurture our people. We knew this was a big deal. We knew that awareness had to be there. People had to know what they were getting if they were going to spend $4,000, right? That's not just something you're just going to swipe it and forget it. You're going to swipe it and marinate on it and remember it forever. And so we wanted people to feel really, really good. We were going into this blind, and that was very, very scary. No one in our space had ever done anything like this before. Very few people in the online space have done something like this before. I would say, 10 very successful companies have implemented a strategy like this. We had never tested anything like this. But here's what I knew. I knew that this was where our customer journey was headed. And if it wasn't this year, it was next year. If it wasn't next year, it was next year. And what I knew was that we were ready, that this was it for us. This was our time. And we were so right. Launching a program, friends, is like birthing a baby, and the after effects of launching are very similar to a hangover. It is a hangover of stress and cortisol and adrenaline and all of those things. And I think it took me, we're at the 2-week mark. I think it's taken me this long to get here, to get back to normal, to get back for the good. Our team may still be in the hangover mode. I'm sorry for that. But I want to give you 3 just basic tips on launching an offer that aren't necessarily related to ours. And then I'm going to share with you the 5 behind the scenes secrets of what really worked. The first tip that I want to give you is during your pre-launch phase. So I mentioned that we were about 10 weeks out. And when I say that we are in a 10-week runway, meaning that we planned every moment of every day. That's an exaggeration. For 10 weeks. Everything I was going to say was planned. I mean, not really, but we knew where we were going. Now, did we pivot a lot? Yes. Did we change it up? Yes. After every webinar, did I not sleep the night of? Yes. Did I wake up and rewrite the webinar every morning? Yes. So that's kind of the thought process behind all of this. But in the pre-launch phase, you don't know what you don't know. And if you've never launched a program before, you don't know what's going to hit and you don't know what's going to miss. And what I can always promise you is that action brings clarity and clarity produces results. You're never going to know what you need to do if you don't take action. And so during your pre-launch phase, my first tip for you is that you have to research. You have to know your audience. You have to know who you're speaking to. You have to use their words, plan their pain points, focus on their challenges. Inside of our CEO Teacher membership, our business school for teachers, that is a key part of what we teach, is that you really have to begin to speak the language of your customers. And you don't know how to do that until you start working with them every single day. Our team has now been part of our team for 3 years. And what we said is that we were firing on all cylinders because our sales pages were good. Our copy was good. Everything we had felt so right, but we know our audience. And because our employees have been coaching one-on-one our audience for the last 2 years, I didn't even have to say it before they had the answers. There was nothing I had to guide my employees on, nothing. They knew it. I could have, here's what I thought about for the webinar. They were on it. Here's what I thought about. They got it. I want to change this. This feels better. And that is something that I don't believe you can teach. I believe that that is something that just comes with experience, to know who you work with, to feel who you work with. If it's just you, you really have to feel that in your soul as well. But pre-launch phase, you got to do your research. You have to really know your audience, know who you're speaking to. Friends, this can take months or it can take years. And you may not want to hear it, but nobody was an overnight success. And so I don't think you feel this confident in who you are until you've been doing this for a while. Pay attention to what people are commenting on your post. Pay attention to how they are responding to ads, to what people are saying online in general that are in your space, even those that are closest to you that are sharing their insights. Write them down. We are constantly screenshotting, constantly saying, check this out. Even if people aren't in our space, if we see people that we know that are commenting, oh, here's what they said. And so we know exactly what not to say. We've done that wrong a lot. But we also are starting to learn exactly what to say. And that's one of the secrets that I'll share in just a few minutes. So your first tip that I wanted to give you, just as a generic tip, is that in your pre-launch phase, you must do the research. Number 2 is that in your launch phase, now when we say launch phase, we mean as the doors are beginning to open. You're about 2 weeks out at this point. As you are really telling people there is a program, there is something we're going to offer you, here is the time. This is your launch phase between cart open, a couple weeks before cart open, and cart close. So about 3 week stretch for us is that you have to create a marketing and a content plan. You cannot wake up moment to moment flying by the seat of your pants. You can, but it's going to cause you a lot of stress. You're not going to be able to pivot because you're not going to know in time if it's working or if it's not. And you're going to be stressed. One thing that we teach in our programs is a hype mechanism. Friends, hype is real. I love my hype girls at the gym. I love a good hype squad, period. Taylor Swift is the queen, whether you want to admit it or not, of hype. Travis Kelce is the king of hype if you want to go there. But hype is real. You can hate it if you want, but it is how your products become successful. So how are you going to hype it? Are you going to hype it through a training? Are you going to hype it through a challenge, maybe a webinar? What is getting people excited? What is hitting that spark, touching that pain point where they go, ooh, I want to be a part of this? If you aren't excited about your offer, if you are not hyping it up, then nobody else will care either. Taylor Swift re-releasing her Taylor versions. I'm so sorry I'm going down the T-Swift rabbit hole right now, but when I tell you we were taking Taylor Swift notes for months, not because we want to be Taylor Swift, but because she is the most successful person in our time. And that is powerful. I have researched the way people move people for years. John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King. Guys, there's a reason why these people became so famous, why they became so successful. Because the way that you use your words to move people, not manipulate people, there's a difference. There's a way that you use your words to move people is where the power lies. if you aren't excited about what you're going to offer. If it's not going to change people's lives, then why should they care? Awareness is another key part of your launch phase. I'm giving a couple of things in this tip. Awareness is so important. We teach all of this in our business school, by the way, the CEO Teacher membership that'll be launching in the spring. But you have to have something that brings awareness to it, an opt-in, your social media, going live. How often and as much as you share should become part of your daily life. There should be trial and error of what works and what doesn't, but consistency is key. Create an 8 to 10 week plan, as I was sharing, because the longer the runway, the more detailed, the more prepared, the better off you'll be. Not the more busy. Okay, we've been busier than we were this launch, but the more prepared you are, the better off you'll be. Customer support is vital. People want a personal touch. That's something I'm going to share about in just a few minutes too, about what worked for us with customer support. And social proof. If you have people that have been successful, how can you share that with them? Also remember that you should always pivot as needed. And I mentioned that before. And then finally, another quick tip before I get into our secrets is your post-launch phase. So take notes for next time. When we finish, we go in and we type up a whole spreadsheet. Here's what worked really well. Here's what didn't work well. Here's what I loved. Here's what I didn't love. And I don't just mean this from a launch perspective. Did the meal prep work? Did you get to go to the gym? Did you miss any appointments? Did you clear your schedule? Did you take notes every day? Remember, it's just like birthing a baby. You forget the hard parts when it's over until it comes time to do it all again. And then it comes crushing back. And then it's like, oh no, I have to birth this baby again. Been there, done that 4 times. So remember that. And don't ghost your audience, friends. Like once it's over, don't just be like, bye. You need a little downtime. I got off of social media this weekend, but don't just say bye. Okay, so I want to share quickly our 5 amazing things that we did this launch, what worked really well for us, our success secrets, if you will. The first one, you're probably going to roll your eyes out. Don't care, because it's the most important, is the most important thing for this launch was mindset. Don't get me wrong. It got sketched there a few times. I cried sometimes. The week before open cart, roller coaster. No one's going to buy this. I'm an idiot. We have jumped in so far over our heads. But let me tell you something. The gut doesn't lie. My whole life, I may not know anything, but what I know is my gut. I trust it. I believe it. I listen to God. I ask him for clarity, and he shows me every time. He is right on time. So my mindset was right. I knew that if this didn't work to our expectations, or if we didn't sell as many as we needed to sell, what I knew was that this was it for us. This was the next step. This was the future of the CEO teacher. And you get emotional about it when you know. So every night on a webinar, I cried and I would apologize to the team. And they would say, but Casey, it's what makes you human. You're so passionate about it. No, but it's a secondhand embarrassment when you watch people cry. So sorry. But I knew that this was it for us. I knew that this was our next big step. And so my mindset was the most important thing. James Clear, I mentioned before, the author of Atomic Habits, he says, be the designer of your world and not merely the consumer of it. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. When you can't win by being better, you win by being different. Friends, I'm just a teacher. I don't have an audience of everyone in the world. I can't win always by being better, but I know that I can win being different. And that is so important to me. I listen to a song before every webinar from The Greatest Showman, the movie. I listen to the Pink version, and I got this idea from Amy Porterfield. I think she listens to Don't Stop Believing. Okay, that was free. My singing today, but she listens to that before every webinar to get pumped up. And so I was like, I need a song, but I don't want it just to pump me up. I need one that I can kind of see the future. And so a couple years ago, I started doing this, and I listened to it before every webinar, and it's Pink's version of the Greatest Showman song, "A Million Dreams." And I always cry, but it says, run away to a world that you design. And that's it. That's what we get to do every day. That's my life. Because of all of you. And so I want to encourage you that you can create a world that you design. You don't have to run away. Sometimes you can stay. But if you want to run, there is a world that you can create too as a teacher. So step one is you got to get your mind right. I had some moments of uncertainty. It's funny, my gym friends know when I'm off, I'm off. It's funny because we can comment on our, it's called Sugar Wad, where we post our gym stuff, and they can look at me and say, your mind's not right. They know. They know. And your mindset is everything, from how much weight I can lift in the gym to how fast I can run sprints to if I can finish the 5 miles this week for our marathon training to if I can finish the webinar on a high note. Every single night on that webinar, I finished on top of the world. And that was because my mind was right. I planned it. I prayed for it. I believed it. I knew it. And I've lived a lot of launches that did not go that way, even if I lied to myself and told them that it was right. Can't lie about that. Okay, the next tip, number 2 on things that worked really well for us. This was my favorite part, was our Sassy Copy. So I say Sassy Copy, meaning anything that we wrote had a little bit of sass in it. And as a former middle school teacher, that was really fun for me. So I got in and wrote a lot of the sales page this time. Now, Tina's our copywriter. She's amazing, but I like to give direction and I like to be a visionary. And so I was like, I want to write this. And they were like, okay, go for it. And they said, it'll actually help me because we've never launched this program before. We want to see your vision. And so I got in and wrote a lot of the sales page. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to hit, guys. This is polarizing. And so here's the thing about being polarizing is that you're either going to take people with you or you're going to leave behind a lot. And so we've been polarizing before where we left behind a lot and we pissed a lot of people off. And I don't love pissing people off. It's not my thing. And so I didn't know how this was going to hit. And what I can tell you is that we did not have one person, not one mean email, not one mean message on social media that didn't resonate with our Sassy Copy. Now, we had 1 or 2 messages. Let's see. We had 1 or 2, they weren't even mean. They just put a comment that was like, I don't believe you or something like that, which is fine. Totally fine. You don't have to believe me. And so come on our webinar and let me see if I can convince you. If not, it's cool. It's not for you. So having that Sassy Copy, it reaffirmed that what we were doing was the right track, because people are going to easily be like, nope, if they don't like it, because you can be sassy and it's not working. It's not going to work. So Sassy Copy worked for us on our sales page, on our sales ads. So anything, I also was very sassy in my videos. They, our ads team, when we would meet, we had cards open. We try to meet pretty regularly to say, this is working, this is not. Anytime I started a video with sass, it always landed every single time. And that was so unique for us because I've been playing it safe for the past couple of years. I've been saying what I thought you wanted to hear. And instead I just said what I needed to say. And so Sassy worked really, really good for us. So step 1 on success principles or behind the scenes success secrets of our most recent launch was that I had my mind right. Step 2 was that the Sassy Copy worked for us. It was there. Next is that we went back to the basics, and that felt really, really good. We did less than we've ever done. We did not have a video series. We did not have an elaborate funnel already made out where you could see if they go here, they go here. If they go here, they go here. We did not open a Facebook group. We actually had half of the amount of ad spend that we usually use. We went very, very basic. Our images were hitting and we did very basic images. So going back to the basics, keep it simple. Simplicity is key. Is so important. Just remember that whenever you start trying to add on another thing that a marketer told you to do, that sometimes less is more. And the more you confuse, the more that you lose. So number 4 was that runway I chatted about earlier, the 10 weeks out. 10 weeks out worked really, really well for us. We had a plan. Our podcast episodes started moving you in that direction 10 weeks before we launched. And then finally, our last one that goes into this from the 10 weeks out is that we did something we haven't done in a while. And I loved it. We went live on Facebook every Thursday night for 10 weeks. And you guys started showing up. First kind of time and nobody was there. First week, not nobody was there, but there wasn't a lot of people there. But we started going live. Like, who goes live on Facebook? Who does that anymore? Nobody. But it was how we got started. And it was so much fun for me. We call it Teacher TV. And it's our new initiative for next year. We're going to start going live on Facebook all the time. I had so much fun. We're going to start streaming live on YouTube. I have never been great at going live and it made me really nervous. But the more you practice, the better you get. And now live has kind of become my specialty. I live for seeing your names and chatting with you and having a conversation with you. People are my people. And so when you start to get good at something and people start recognizing that, I get messages from some people that I absolutely love. It says, Casey, you're great live. And it's taken me a long time to get there, of it 10 years. And so why should we not play into that? You should lean into your strengths rather than conform to what everyone else is doing. So going live was our ace in the hole. And I think it will be our ace in the hole for the next couple years until you get tired of me. But what I realized was that you guys were okay with my sassiness. That's what today's show was about, was I was trying to just kind of go from the hip again and see how it goes. But you were okay with our conversations, and we got to chat about the things that were working, things that weren't working. And that really worked well for us. So just a quick recap is mindset was the most important thing. Having sassy copy worked really well for us. Going back to the basics, planning 10 weeks out, and then going live was our ace in the hole. And I just want you to figure out what your specialty is and run as fast as you can to it. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Let us know on social media, share this, leave us a review. We haven't asked for that in a long time, but I would love for you to leave us a review on the show and let us know what you think about us sharing some of these updated marketing strategies. Friends, as always, remember your best is yet to come, and this is the beginning of everything. Today's a good day. Today is the day that we take back our power as teachers and we become who we were meant to be. I'll see you right here next week. See you guys.